Okay, this is a response to the new media tempest in a teapot about Father Pfleger, who's a Catholic priest who has a pretty much all black congregation, largely black congregation in south side of Chicago. He's a Catholic priest. He's a pretty radical guy, and I've uploaded a video showing him talking to Fox News for about 10 minutes right when the first Reverend Wright controversy broke out. The main criticism in this MSNBC clip is that the audience at Trinity Church is clapping, and I believe that they're clapping not out of hatred for Hillary Clinton or white people, but because of their love of Father Pfleger, who is a beloved figure in South Chicago, in the black community, in the religious and activist community. And I think that it's kind of a here's one for your nose speech. Here's one for your nose is what they used to find inscribed on lead pellets the lyric slingers would fling at their opponents. And he was doing a little tweaking of Hillary's nose here, and it's a totally trivial matter. And to me, the scary thing is that basically this is going to, if we are going to attack people over mild, good-natured kidding in public of this type, although admittedly Pfleger does have a tendency to tweak whites' noses, and as a white minister with an all-black congregation, he has this sort of almost black-like way of speaking that I have a hard time understanding, although I deeply admire this man. But it seems kind of a little bit contrived, but he wants to be close to his congregation, and they call him the white minister with the black soul, and or the blue-eyed reverend with the black soul. So what can I say? He's certainly done a lot more than I have. But if we're going to tear people apart over some good-natured kidding like this, we're basically creating a kind of a climate of repression and fear. This is inside the same party. The people at Trinity Church were big supporters of Clinton's before all this broke out, and Hillary did do some pretty, that campaign did some pretty nasty things to Barack Obama in March. If he's going to be a Democratic candidate, she did her best to weaken him, and it really could cost the Democrats the election in the fall, and that people are pretty mad about that, and I'm one of those people. I have deep respect for the Clintons, but I'm pretty mad about that. So then you're going to ask yourself, what was this guy thinking, making comments like, I'm entitled, I'm white, and think back to what you might have said in your life. And this is sort of flow of consciousness. I'm pretty sure this wasn't a heavily rehearsed speech, but I do have to admit that with things as tense as they are right now, I wonder if Father Pfleger isn't hitting the same self-destruct button that Jeremiah Wright was hitting when he went on the road for his interviews. So it's, I don't really know what to think about that. It's obviously, but I've said things I've regretted recently. And I'm sure if you listen to his whole speech, he would have said all sorts of wonderful things, because he is a very passionate Christian. There's no question about it. And so why don't you guys in the media, instead of talking about the issues, let's just distract American people and make them afraid. And we know you're trying to do this. And I was a little disappointed Dan Abrams doesn't even know who Father Pfleger is. Anybody who's been following this election should have done enough background to know who Father Pfleger is. Now, I'm not talking about the general public, but I'm not a journalist, and so what do these guys do in their spare time if they're not doing background of this sort? And anybody who's a political junkie knows what I'm talking about. This is disappointing that these guys act like they don't know who Father Pfleger is, like this is just some random person who appeared out of nowhere. If this is the journalists we're dealing with, these guys should all find other jobs, because Father Pfleger is a pretty well-known figure. He's a good friend of Louis Farrakhan. Now, is that a bad thing that Louis Farrakhan has a good friend who's a white Catholic reverend? I don't think it is, unless you think Louis Farrakhan should be summarily executed, because he's obviously a very radical man too, and I'm not going to defend Louis Farrakhan or attack him. But I don't think that it's anybody else's business whether, this Reverend and Minister Farrakhan have a good friendship. I think it speaks well on the whole for Father Pfleger, and it's probably a moderating influence. But basically, we have to ask, why don't we talk about issues and policies? If we could stick to issues and policies, I think that Obama would win. Thank you.